Let's talk about South Africa, a nation that captivates with its diverse landscapes and vibrant cultures. It's a place where the echoes of the past resonate deeply in the present. A land of breathtaking beauty, from the sweeping savannas teeming with wildlife and a history etched in every corner of its soil. That's anything but simple. It's a complex tapestry woven with threads of struggle, resilience, and the ongoing pursuit of justice. To understand today the challenges and triumphs, you need to understand apartheid, the system that defined much of the 20th century. Not just racism, the prejudice and discrimination that exists in many societies, but racism as law, a codified, systematic oppression. From 1948, when the National Party cemented its power, to the early 1990s, when the world watched as apartheid crumbled, your skin color decided with brutal precision where you lived. Often in segregated townships far from opportunity, worked, often in menial jobs with little chance for advancement, and who you could marry. Love itself was legislated. White South Africans, a minority, enjoyed immense privilege, controlled almost everything, from land and resources to businesses and political power. Black South Africans, the majority population, were stripped of fundamental rights, treated as second-class citizens in their own land, and forced into poverty. A deliberate strategy to maintain white dominance. Colored and Indian communities, people of mixed race and of Indian descent, were left in limbo, subject to discrimination, never fully included in the white minority's privileges, never fully excluded from the system, creating a complex and often contradictory existence. Apartheid was a system, meticulously crafted, built to divide and conquer, to maintain power through segregation and oppression. Then came 1994, the year of South Africa's first democratic election. Mandela, the symbol of resistance, the Rainbow Nation, a vision of unity and diversity, and a promise of equality for all its citizens. A new dawn. We had a new constitution, hailed as one of the most progressive in the world. A Truth and Reconciliation Commission, to confront the horrors of the past and hope for a future free from the shackles of apartheid, where race didn't dictate your destiny. A truly non-racial democracy. But promises are easy, delivering on them is the hard part. Undoing centuries of inequality is not. It's a monumental task. The economic legacy of apartheid lingers, a deep scar on the nation's soul. Wealth and land, the foundations of economic power, still concentrated in white hands. Decades after apartheid ended, the government tried to fix this, to redress the imbalances of the past, with policies like ambitious and far-reaching Black economic empowerment, or B. The goal, a noble one, give Black South Africans, previously excluded from the economy, a real stake in the economy, to create a more equitable society. But good intentions, however well-meaning, don't always lead to good outcomes. The path is rarely straightforward. The road to equality is long, winding, and fraught with challenges, and the policies designed, with the best of intentions, meant to fix the past, to correct historical injustices, are now stirring new debates, raising difficult questions. Are we healing old wounds, fostering true reconciliation, or creating new ones, exacerbating existing tensions? The question now, at this critical juncture, are we building a fairer future, a truly just society for all, or just shifting the pain, merely transferring the burden of inequality? South Africa's journey towards a more equitable future is far from over. It's an ongoing struggle. And the next chapter in this unfolding story is being written right now, with every decision, every policy, every act of reconciliation or division. Fast forward to today, 2025. The government's new plan, the Employment Equity Amendment Act. It gives the minister power to set racial employment targets for companies with over 50 employees. The idea workforces should mirror South Africa's demographics from the mailroom to the boardroom. If you don't comply, you risk heavy fines and losing government contracts. For some, it's a long overdue push for real change. For others, it's a blunt instrument that puts race above merit. The government says we've waited 30 years for voluntary transformation. Now we're forcing the issue. Critics call it social engineering, punishing today's generation for yesterday's sins. The law affects everyone. Business owners, employees, and job seekers. Is it a tool for justice or a new source of division? The stakes couldn't be higher. South Africa, a land of vibrant cultures and complex history, continues to grapple with the legacy of apartheid. To truly understand the profound impact of these policies, both past and present, we need to move beyond statistics and delve into the lived experiences of its people. To understand the nuances, the hopes, and the frustrations, you have to hear directly from real people, from all walks of life, each with their own unique perspective shaped by the Rainbow Nation's intricate tapestry. Johan, a young white engineer, a member of the generation born after the official end of apartheid, says, "I was born after apartheid. I work hard, putting in the hours and striving to excel in my field. But despite my qualifications and dedication, I'm often told implicitly or explicitly that I'm the wrong color for certain opportunities. Why am I paying for a debt I never owed? Why am I being penalized for something that happened before I was even born? Thandi, a black woman working in middle management with years of experience and a clear vision for her company, sees the situation from a vastly different yet equally valid perspective. I watch less qualified, less experienced white colleagues who haven't faced the same systemic barriers I have get promoted over me time and time again. This law isn't a handout. It's not about giving anyone an unfair advantage. It's a crowbar, a necessary tool to pry open doors that have always been shut to people like me. Doors that were locked long before I even had a chance to knock. Fatima, an Indian business owner who has poured her heart and soul into building her company, feels increasingly squeezed from all sides, caught in a complex web of historical injustices and present-day realities. We weren't white enough under apartheid. We faced discrimination and hardship alongside our black brothers and sisters. And now, in the new South Africa, we're often not considered black enough to benefit from certain redress policies. We're overlooked in the conversations, our struggles often minimized or ignored, always having to prove our worth, always striving to demonstrate our commitment to this country. These stories, these individual experiences, reveal a nation still deeply divided, not just along the traditional lines of black and white, but with a complex spectrum of shades and perspectives in between. For some, these laws represent long overdue justice, a necessary step towards correcting historical imbalances. For others, they are perceived as a new form of injustice, creating new inequalities while attempting to address old ones. The Rainbow Nation, once a symbol of hope and reconciliation, is feeling the strain of these competing narratives and the weight of its past. People worry about their jobs, their livelihoods, their children's futures, the opportunities that will be available to them and their place, their sense of belonging, in the ever-evolving landscape of the country. The debate surrounding these issues isn't just a matter of political policy or economic theory, it's deeply personal, touching upon fundamental questions of identity, fairness, and opportunity. Hopes for a more equitable future, fears of being left behind, and frustrations born from years of inequality collide in every conversation, in every workplace, in every community. The law is more than just policy written on paper. It's a profound test of belonging, a measure of who is truly considered a part of the nation. Can South Africa, with all its complexities and contradictions, find true unity in its remarkable diversity? Or will these well-intentioned policies designed to heal the wounds of the past inadvertently deepen the existing cracks and create new divisions within society? The answers to these questions aren't simple, and there are no easy solutions to be found. But amidst the noise and the debate, the voices of the people are clear. Everyone, regardless of their background or their history, wants a fair shot at a better future. The challenge that lies ahead is finding a way forward, a path towards progress that truly includes everyone, leaving no one behind. That's the real test, the ultimate measure of the enduring promise of the Rainbow Nation. Thandi's story is common. Black professionals with the right skills still face invisible barriers. The corporate ladder isn't just glass, it's concrete, reinforced by old networks and subtle bias. Promotions often happen in exclusive circles, golf courses, private braais, where many are never invited. Official policies promise equality, but the culture lags behind. For many, quotas are a necessary evil, a way to force companies to see talent they've ignored. But there's a cost. Those promoted under quotas face whispers that they didn't earn it. They work twice as hard to prove themselves, carrying the burden of being seen as a statistic. The law might open doors, but it doesn't guarantee respect. The struggle isn't just to get in the room, it's to be valued once you're there. Breaking the cycle means changing minds, not just numbers. That's the real challenge. Now, let's consider Johan's side of the story. It's a perspective often overlooked, yet crucial to understanding the complexities of the situation. He's young, white, a member of the post-apartheid generation, and increasingly feeling shut out from opportunities he believes he deserves. He grew up believing, as many did, in the promise of the Rainbow Nation, a society free from the shackles of racial prejudice. He worked hard, dedicated himself to his studies, but now faces repeated job rejections, despite his qualifications. He feels these rejections are based solely on his race, a bitter pill to swallow. As a result, many talented white South Africans feeling disillusioned and hopeless are choosing to leave the country, seeking opportunities elsewhere. This exodus is fueling a significant brain drain, a loss of skills and expertise the country simply can't afford if it hopes to thrive in the global economy. The emotional toll of this situation is very real. Resentment, a sense of alienation from their own country, and a growing sense that the system, despite its noble intentions, is ultimately rigged against them. Critics vehemently argue, didn't we fight tirelessly to end all forms of racial discrimination regardless of who it targets? They question, why is race still the very first box we're asked to tick on every application? Instead of fostering a truly non-racial society, as envisioned, some feel that race matters now more than ever before. The policy, originally meant to heal the deep wounds of the past, now risks deepening those old wounds and creating new divisions. It inadvertently forces everyone, regardless of their background, to constantly see themselves, and to view each other, primarily through the limiting lens of race. Is this truly what Nelson Mandela so passionately dreamed of for his beloved nation? Or is it a tragic irony that we are now fighting racism by creating and enforcing even more racial categories? The debate surrounding these issues is fierce and deeply divisive, and the stakes for South Africa's future are incredibly high. South Africa's future ultimately depends on finding a better, more inclusive way forward for all its citizens. Colored and Indian communities are caught in a painful in-between. Under apartheid, they were neither privileged nor fully oppressed. Now, new laws often leave them out too small a minority to count, not black enough for preference. In places like the Western Cape, colored people are the local majority, but national quotas still sideline them. It feels like a cruel joke, marginalized then marginalized now. Many feel erased from the national story, their contributions forgotten. This isn't just about jobs, it's about identity and belonging. When equity policies create new exclusions, the system needs rethinking. True unity means no one is left behind. President Ramaphosa promised this law would finally break economic apartheid and unite the nation. The vision shared prosperity, real transformation. But on the ground, the law is deepening divisions. Business owners fear hiring based on quotas, not skills, will hurt competitiveness and jobs. The rollout has been confusing, with threats of fines and lost contracts creating anxiety. Instead of partnership, there's mistrust between government and business. South Africa's unemployment crisis makes any policy that risks jobs a dangerous gamble. Critics say, focus on growth, education, and cutting red tape, not more racial regulation. The promise of more jobs is colliding with a harsh reality. Is the law helping, or making things worse? The data is as divided as the country. Some experts say affirmative action is essential. White people still hold most top jobs despite being a small minority. Without intervention, they argue, nothing will change. Others warn the law will scare off investment, kill jobs, and tie businesses in red tape. Past policies like B often benefited a connected few, not the masses. The fear, this law will do the same, creating quotapreneurs while youth unemployment soars. Can South Africa afford to prioritize racial targets over economic growth? Is this economic chemotherapy, or just more pain? The stakes, millions of lives, and the country's future. The debate is far from settled. 31 years after democracy, South Africa faces a new crossroads. The Employment Equity Amendment Act is a symbol of frustration and hope, but also of division. Scrapping the law isn't the answer, but neither is using a sledgehammer for delicate surgery. Maybe the focus should shift. Invest in world-class education, skills, and mentorship. Real empowerment comes from opportunity, not quotas. The conversation must change, from shouting to listening. Business and government need to work together, not against each other. True transformation means dismantling old networks and building inclusive cultures. South Africa's success depends on unity, not division. The goal: grow the whole pie, not just fight over slices. It's a monumental task. But this country has overcome the impossible before. The question, can it do it again?